A storm had rolled through her life, one that no one thought she'd ever recover from. After the accident, the doctors told her she'd never walk again. Her legs, once full of strength and rhythm, now lay still and unresponsive. Her world became a confined space of metal frames, therapy routines, and forced smiles. She had once dreamed of being a dancer, of floating across stages and fields, of spinning in rainstorms. But all those dreams were declared impossible, gone like the feeling in her toes. But fate had other plans, plans with a rugged charm and quiet strength. He lived far from the city, in the open wild, where rain hit the earth like applause and the horizon stretched endlessly. When he met her, he didn't see a woman in a wheelchair. He saw a fighter. A soul flickering under the weight of what the world had told her she could no longer be. The place she came to recover was his, simple, sturdy, and surrounded by nature's healing grace. The exterior of the ranch was built with rough timber and wide-open verandas, the kind that caught the smell of wildflowers and distant rain. A hand-built ramp wound through a garden of lavender and sage, giving her access to places most ranches would have ignored. There were no hospital walls here, just wind, space, and the creak of a rocking chair on old wood. Inside, the house welcomed her like a memory. Warm lighting bathed stone walls, and soft quilts were stacked like hugs on every couch. The fireplace wasn't just for warmth, it told stories of survival, of lonely winters and long nights passed with patience. She found the interior comforting, filled with handcrafted furniture and books about freedom, movement, music, and dance. On one wall hung a picture of a dancer in the rain, perhaps not coincidence, but destiny whispering in art. The real miracle, though, wasn't in the walls. It was in him. His performance wasn't loud or showy. He didn't fix her with medical precision or futuristic machines. He healed with rhythm. Every morning, he wheeled her outside to the field just as the sun broke through clouds. The earth underfoot was soft. The wind carried birdsong and the rustle of grass. And then, he'd put on music. At first, it was just her hands that moved. Fingers fluttering to melody. Then her arms. Then her head began to follow the beat. He guided her gently, placing her hands on his shoulders. She leaned into him. He swayed. She learned his timing, the patience in his pace, the way he moved with the wind. Slowly, her body began remembering, not all at once, not perfectly, but enough to surprise even her. The safety he created wasn't from physical equipment. It was in how he looked at her, never with pity, only with belief. He created an environment where failure was allowed, where effort was celebrated, and where hope wasn't a burden. He ensured her wheelchair was modified for movement, with wider tires for the earth and a lighter frame she could maneuver herself. He taught her to fall safely, to trust her own strength again. And when the rain came, and it often did, he didn't pull her inside. He wheeled her out, lifted her gently, and they danced. Each day brought a new discovery. A twitch of the toe. A muscle firing. The day she stood on her own for the first time, it wasn't in a clinic, it was in the rain. Her hands in his. Her tears mixing with raindrops. Her laughter echoing across the fields. The world said she'd never walk. But she danced. Their story isn't about miracles that defy science, but about the miracle of love and patience. What makes this journey uniquely powerful is its refusal to rush. He never expected more than she could give. He never treated her like less. She learned that dancing wasn't only for the able, it was for the brave, the ones who refuse to give up, and those who have someone to believe in them when no one else does. What they created together wasn't just a recovery, it was a revolution. A ranch that turned into a sanctuary. He opened the space for others, welcoming wounded souls, physically or emotionally, who needed to remember who they were before life broke them. They built paths for wheelchairs through meadows, installed dance bars in barns, and created music under open skies. It was never about perfection. It was about freedom. There was no price tag on what he gave her. No insurance bill could list it. But if one were to put value on it, it would be the cost of commitment, of time, of choosing love over comfort. She offered him nothing but her presence, and that was enough. And what she got in return was the gift of rediscovered purpose, of new rhythm, of her own feet moving to the beat of the rain. Their love was quiet but thunderous in its reach. He didn't ride in to rescue. He simply stood beside her, held her up until she could stand herself. And when the world watched in awe, seeing her rise, seeing her dance, seeing her leap, not with legs but with joy, they knew something profound had happened. Not magic. Not fiction. Just love, in motion. As the story spread, many came to see the place, to witness the woman who danced again, and the man who never let go. Their legacy wasn't just her walking again. It was the hope they planted in everyone who thought they'd reached the end of their road. For some, it was recovery. For others, it was love. But for everyone, it was a reminder that rain doesn't only bring storms. Sometimes, it brings the dance floor.